The recycled air aboard Nexus 7 space station carried the familiar mixture of machine oil, antiseptic chemicals, and the faint biological residue that always lingered in the life support systems. Dr. Asher Hayes had grown accustomed to it over the 7 years he'd spent as the station's only veterinarian and xenobiologist. The distant hum of cargo being loaded and unloaded created a constant backdrop to life on this remote transfer station on the edge of diplomatic space. Asher finished applying regenerative gel to the torn scales of a grazer crustacean, watching with satisfaction as the translucent blue substance melded with the creature's exoskeleton. "There you go," he murmured, stroking the creature's carapace. "Good as new in a day or two." The automated system chimed softly. "Dr. Hayes, new biological scan request, code Priority Alpha." Asher sighed, carefully returning the grazer to its transport container before peeling off his gloves. Priority Alpha usually meant some wealthy merchant's exotic pet had taken ill. Nothing that couldn't wait another 10 minutes. He needed to retrieve replacement equipment from the outer docks anyway. The corridors of Nexus 7 were cramped and utilitarian, with flickering lights that the maintenance crew perpetually promised to fix. As Asher made his way through the maze-like passageways toward the outer docks, he detected the distinctive ionized scent of plasma weapons lingering in the air. Strange. Security protocols generally prevented weapons discharge inside the station. As he turned the corner into the outer docking area, Asher froze. A massive creature lay slumped against an airlock, a pool of crimson blood spreading beneath its white fur with silver stripes. Its eyes, amber and gold, like flickering flames in the night, were half closed in agony. The beast was roughly the size of a large panther, and a gaping wound on its flank revealed where a pulse disruptor had torn through major blood vessels. Metal fragments, likely remnants of an energy round, were embedded in the surrounding tissue. The creature's chest heaved with labored breaths. Asher's training took over. He knelt beside the wounded animal, pressing his hands against the wound to slow the bleeding. "Who could do this to such a beautiful creature?" he whispered. The beast growled softly, claws reflexively grasping Asher's arm, but not breaking skin. A pain response rather than an attack. Its eyes locked with his for a moment, and Asher felt an odd tingle at the base of his skull. The rational part of his mind screamed that he should alert station security. An injured, potentially dangerous animal of unknown origin constituted a significant risk. Protocol demanded immediate containment and investigation. But another part of him, the part that had driven him to become a veterinarian in the first place, couldn't bear to see this magnificent being suffer. His medical scanner showed the creature was losing blood rapidly. If he followed protocol, the animal would likely die before help arrived. "I can't let you die," Asher muttered, making his decision. With considerable effort, he lifted the beast into his arms. It was heavier than it looked, dense with muscle beneath the luxurious fur. The creature didn't resist, instead going limp in his grasp, as if surrendering to whatever fate Asher chose for it. Asher carried his patient to his clinic, carefully avoiding the busier corridors. Once inside, he placed the creature on his examination table and activated his full xenobiology scan. "Unknown species," the scanner reported. "Closest match, Phalatus sapiens, variant, 78% confidence." Asher frowned. That was an unusually high confidence rating for an unknown species, suggesting the animal was genetically related to a sentient species. Even more concerning, sapiens classification indicated intelligence approaching or surpassing human levels. The bleeding had worsened during transport. Asher quickly applied a tourniquet and cleaned the wound, noting the clean, precise nature of the injury. This wasn't a random accident. Someone had deliberately targeted a vital area with a high-precision weapon. As he worked, the station's announcement system crackled to life. "Attention all personnel. Diplomatic vessel, Crimson Claw. Requests emergency docking. Security protocols elevated. All non-essential staff maintain positions. Asher's hands stilled momentarily. Diplomatic vessels rarely visited Nexus 7. The station served primarily as a waypoint for traders, mercenaries, and the occasional low-level official, certainly not the kind of place that warranted diplomatic attention. Could this animal be connected to the Crimson Claw? Was someone aboard looking for it? Or perhaps someone knew it was here and had come to finish the job. Asher shook off the speculation and returned to his patient. He applied a regenerative gel pack to the wound, watching as the pale green substance penetrated the fur, pushing blood aside and beginning to neutralize potential infections. The scanner's blue light bathed the creature's body, collecting more detailed information about its internal structure. Warning, the system announced. Specimen exhibits markers of Phalatus sapiens variant, royal lineage. Telepathic neural pattern detected. Telepathic? Asher gently touched the creature's paw, and a jolt of warmth spread up his arm. In his mind, he heard no words but felt a desperate plea. Save me. Startled, Asher stepped back, then activated another scan to confirm the telepathic markers. The scanner's light reflected off the beast's eyes, which had opened fully now, watching him with unnerving intelligence. Asher glanced nervously toward the corridor. The security cameras seemed to be focusing more frequently on his clinic. Time was running short. If this creature belonged to someone aboard the Crimson Claw, the entire station would soon be under diplomatic clearance. He couldn't hide his patient for long. While focusing on treatment, Asher kept glancing toward the hallway, feeling as if the security scanners were constantly sweeping toward his clinic. Then, a station-wide announcement blared. Attention all personnel. Diplomatic vessel Crimson Claw has docked. Security protocols elevated. All non-essential staff maintain positions. Asher's brow furrowed. Diplomatic vessel. The station rarely hosted high-ranking officials. Usually, it was just smugglers, mercenaries, and low-level traders. Could this creature be related to the Crimson Claw? Asher wondered aloud. Is someone looking for it? Or does someone aboard know it's here? The risks were mounting. The creature was weak, vulnerable, and the scanners might have already detected its DNA signature. Asher realized that if this information spread, the entire station would fall under diplomatic jurisdiction, and he wouldn't be able to hide or treat his patient much longer. 4 figures in black cloaks with reinforced glass masks disembarked from the Crimson Claw. One introduced himself as Envoy Ravik, another as Commander Lara, apparently part of a low-ranking delegation that nonetheless carried considerable authority. They immediately ordered a scan of all medical corridors, searching for a valuable biological specimen reported missing. Asher was pulled aside for a quick inspection. They scanned his fingerprints and blood composition. Asher pretended to cooperate. I'm just a veterinarian who treats exotic animals. I don't pay attention to politics. Envoy Ravik gripped Asher's face roughly, interrogating him harshly. Have you examined all creatures passing through the station? I've heard there's a royal lineage Phalatus creature. It must be somewhere around here. Asher could only shake his head, offering no explicit denial. I treat everything from insect level to carrion crows. Some creatures might appear royal, but if it was shot, how would I not know about it? They exchanged glances, their eyes filled with suspicion. Asher tensed slightly when Ravik glanced at the biostethoscope in his hand. Commander Lara quietly messaged Ravik. The Baroness will come personally to find the creature. It cannot hide for long. Leave tracking marks. Asher sensed time was running out. With the military lockdown underway, Asher quickly guided the beast, which he had begun calling Nyx, into an isolation chamber he had designed for treating infectious diseases. He entered a command. Computer, security override, quarantine zone Alpha 3, temporarily preventing sensors from detecting biological traces. Asher quietly placed medications, regenerative gel, and xenobiological painkillers in the chamber. He sat beside the medicine container and whispered, Your name is Nix. You can't die here. I promise to take care of you." Nix used telepathy to speak to Asher, a wave of fear, loneliness, and gratitude. Asher trembled, feeling the wordless but intense "thank you." The entire station prepared for a formal reception. The Teresian royal flag, white-blue striped banner, was displayed. Halogen lights illuminated the pathways, and population counters were activated. Commander Taro, the station commander, called an emergency meeting. Baroness Kalira has arrived unexpectedly. All leadership must report to Docking Bay 1 immediately. Security protocols elevated to Level 1. Asher stumbled, exhausted after 48 sleepless hours caring for Nix. But his ears perked up at the mention of Baroness, a noble name. In the reception hall, a maintenance meeting room hastily covered with red carpet, royal flags, and satellite drones projecting red-blue lights, people stood packed together. Security with cranial implants, a holographic protocol handler, and various medical staff. Then, Baroness Kalira appeared, a Thean female, feline humanoid, standing 5'9", with silver-white fur interspersed with gray stripes. Her yellow tiger eyes reflected both ferocity and hidden fear. She wore a deep crimson royal ceremonial dress, with blue plasma trim and intricate decorations. A black metal circlet rested delicately between her pointed ears. Her posture was regal, her gait as fluid as a tiger's. When she appeared, the entire hall fell silent. The lights illuminated a fine scar at the corner of her mouth, adding character to her face. Commander Taro bowed respectfully. "Your Excellency, Nexus 7 is honored to welcome the royal consort. We apologize for any oversights." Kalira barely glanced at him. "I don't need ceremonies. I've heard a valuable creature is missing. I've come to reclaim it." With a decisive gesture, she glanced at the security officers. "Find it." Taro pointed toward Asher. "Your Excellency, Dr. Hayes is the station veterinarian. He's responsible for treating all exotic creatures." Kalira moved closer, her eyes quickly assessing Asher. "Are you the one who saved it? Just a hint from your lips, and I'll know. This creature is Nix, my companion. Anyone who harms Nix harms me." Asher's heart raced as he realized his predicament. If he revealed the truth, he would expose Nix's hiding place. If he remained silent, he might be considered an accomplice, a thief. He hastily wiped blood from his hand. I've treated many species. If it arrived in critical condition, I was just fulfilling my humanitarian duty." Kalira's expression showed both surprise and suspicion. Sensing his protection, she pressed, "The medical bay isn't far from here. I can sense Nix's spiritual energy among countless creatures. Are you telling the truth, or hiding something?" Asher struggled to maintain composure, determination rising within him. "I don't know. You should check the medical area. But what you're sensing could be misleading. Many exotic animals pass through this station." After the meeting, Asher immediately returned to his clinic, realizing he could no longer keep Nix there. Using the code Medical Override, Sector 3, he locked the room and transferred Nix to Isolation Chamber Sigma 9, a secret room beneath the floor without cameras. Before closing the chamber door, Asher activated the internal communicator. "Kalira, if you're monitoring this channel, this room has been cleared of parasites." Kalira didn't come directly to the clinic, following the main route. Instead, she navigated through the logistics corridor, using a temporary cloaking device to slip through unnoticed. Just as Asher opened the secret door, Kalira appeared. "I knew you weren't telling the truth. Where are you hiding Nix?" In the cramped space with dim blue light, Asher couldn't hide any longer. "Where are you hiding?" Kalira produced a small tablet, placing it on Asher's forehead. "Tell the truth, or I'll force you to speak through telepathy." Asher confessed. "Nix is below, in a temporary isolation chamber." Kalira approached, seeing Nyx trembling in the chamber. Her eyes moistened with a mixture of love and anger. "I thought I'd lost him long ago. Who wants to harm Nyx? And why did you save him?" Asher bit his lip, explaining, "I didn't know who you were. When I saw a creature collapsed in blood, I couldn't ignore it. You can interrogate security, but I haven't been forced into anything." Kalira recognized his courage and recklessness. "Without you, Nyx would be dead. I thank you, but now we must maintain absolute secrecy." They agreed that 1. Kalira would allow Asher to continue caring for Nyx. 2. Neither would reveal Nyx's location to anyone. 3. Kalira promised not to bring military forces to the station to avoid open confrontation. That night, Kalira sat in an old armchair, a worn blanket covering half her body, blue light illuminating her stern face. She explained why she came to Nexus 7. 1. The Theresian dynasty ruled the Thea Prime system. 2. Nyx was a companion, biologically engineered to accompany royalty, sharing a neural link, considered an extended soul of the heir. 3. Her mother, Queen Alyssa, died suddenly, hit by a precisely aimed high-tech bullet. Suspected political conspiracy. 4. Ravik, her cousin, also the temporary regent, attempted to eliminate the legitimate royal line to consolidate power. Nyx was shot first to force Kalira to reveal herself. Asher was shocked. "With so many enemies, why didn't you send scouts instead of coming to a small station?" Kalira gave a sad smile. "Because internal scouts have traitors. I needed to verify the truth directly. Besides, I've prepared evidence for the Royal Council." Meanwhile, tension built around the clinic. Station security investigated the area. Asher had to cleverly hide all medical equipment used to treat Nyx. Asher continued treating Nyx through advanced steps. Combining regenerative gel with transgenic cell culture he had just researched. Giving Nyx doses of neuro-relief serum for long-term pain management. While performing these procedures, Asher and Kalira communicated through telepathy, sharing intense emotions, Nyx's fear, Kalira's determination, Asher's compassion. Sleep-deprived for 72 hours. Asher's eyes could barely stay open, forcing him to use caffeine synthesizers. Security conducted surprise inspections. Asher pretended to be busy, acting as if he was preparing documentation. Xenobiology database, update. Secretly submitting Nyx's blood samples for unauthorized analysis. As Asher and Kalira spent more time together, their bond deepened. They shared their pasts. Asher talked about his childhood on a newly terraformed Earth moon, living among livestock more than people, nurturing his passion for healing. Kalira shared that she was Queen Alyssa's second daughter, educated to run the empire, forced to learn court law instead of becoming a biologist. They shared their fears. Kalira feared losing Nyx like losing part of her soul. Asher feared the responsibility of protecting the invisible Nyx, and any mistake that might lead to Baroness ordering his arrest. Romantic tension developed. Light touches while bandaging, telepathic electricity jumping whenever their eyes met. Asher asked, "Do you trust me?" When Kalira gripped his hand as the scanner showed blood analysis results. "I've identified Nyx's lineage. It's Thean dynasty, Class 1 diplomatic offense." Kalira hesitated. "I've put your life at risk, but you've kept your promise to save Nyx. I have no more doubts." Nyx's blood analysis revealed genetic traces confirming Nyx belonged to royalty. Phytus sapiens, Thean dynasty, a legitimate companion of the Baroness. Warning: possession of genetic material from Thean royalty without explicit consent is a Class 1 diplomatic offense. Kalira panicked. "They're not just looking for a companion, but tracking my genetic traces. If I'm exposed, this station will be locked down, and I'll be detained." She decided, "We can't just wait. I must leave before Ravik orders the execution of all contacts. You've helped hide Nix. I'll take you to safety. The tension peaked when station security scanned intensely, forcing Asher to disable cameras and break locks. A breathless moment came when the security breach alarm sounded, and they quickly pulled the automatic door to cover the secret room. Asher prepared an old medical transport shuttle, called Shuttle Epsilon, registered as a medical evacuation module. He reconfigured the radio, GPS codes, and erased all final traces. Kalira quickly packed royal manuscripts, wore an identity-concealing cloak, and carried a few credits and a velvet ring containing communication data with the resistance group. The dramatic escape inside the station. Asher hurriedly pushed aside the floor panel of the secret room. They crawled through a corridor leading to Docking Bay 2. Nexus 7 security discovered the intrusion through the shuttle's RFID traces. Sirens wailed. Red lights flashed. Asher tried to start the temporary rocket engines, but the control bar malfunctioned. He popped open the panel under the roof, using a manual solution, extending the throttle, pushing to maximum speed. The space chase. Shuttle Epsilon burst from the station's atmosphere, immediately pursued by tracking missiles. Asher had to burn preliminary plasma turbines in the opposite direction, then suddenly change course through an intelligence path Kalira provided, where a mysterious hunter ship was hiding. In the cramped cabin, without an automated evasion system, Asher controlled manually, causing the ship to shake violently while Kalira held onto the handrail. The tracker rockets lost track when they plunged into Epsilon Nebula, a dense environmental dust area that concealed signals. New Harmony Valley, a loose nation comprising various species, humans, exiled Theans, Volatri engineers, dominant Keshans, etc. Houses built in diverse styles, high domes, native trees, fields interspersed with recycling industrial zones, warm atmosphere, red dust, multicolored national flags, symbolizing unity in diversity. Asher rented a simple wooden house, 5 kilometers from town, with an adaptive environmental system, maintaining pressure and O2 levels suitable for Thean physiology. Nix, having recovered 60%, curled up in a portable cage, hidden under a camouflaged vehicle, occasionally poking his head out to observe. Emotional connection and planning. After many exhausting sleepless days, Asher and Kalira finally rested. During evenings, changing Nix's bandages, Kalira sang Teresian lullabies to Nix while Asher held her hand, watching the fiery sunset. Gradually, respect and empathy transformed into romantic feelings. Common goal awareness. Kalira needed to plan her return to Thea to overthrow Ravik. Asher, initially reluctant to get involved in politics, now decided, I saved Nix, saved Kalira. Now I'll fight alongside you. They contacted the Thean resistance group, led by Commander Lyra, a Thean, hiding across the valley. Thea Prime, the political capital of the Theresian dynasty, with extremely strict political signals and military security throughout. Ravik had suppressed, imprisoned or executed loyal members, blocked communication with outside alliances, spread disease to create panic, and maintain control. According to Kalira, Ravik neglected healthcare, pushing people into desperation. Now only a few groups along the lower levels maintain truthful information. Infiltration plan. Impersonating medical experts. Asher created a crude pathogen, a Thean-like respiratory virus, artificially multiplied to cause coughing, fever. Not lethal, but enough to create panic. Kalira and Asher disguised themselves as Galactic Health Consortium specialists, registering to maintain Level 3 epidemic conditions, giving them priority access to the King's medical wing. Equipment. Hazmat suits, a synthetic material suitable for both humans and Theans. Emergency equipment, complete medications, neural syringes, Encrypted password. Consortium Delta protocols. Multi-directional warfare. Asher. Use the epidemic as a shield to request entry to the Royal Medical District. Meanwhile, he detected security diagrams and Ravik's personal port. Kalira. Military shield. Spreading news inside. The Queen returns, rising against the tyrant. Commander Lyra and Resistance. Team appointed by Kalira. Distributed free treatment ratios in lower levels to disperse security, triggering chaos. Infiltration feature. Kalira placed herself in case emergency. Infected numerical code N4812, creating urgency to transfer her to the VIP room. Opening the way for Asher. Through ancient tunnels. The medical team escorted them through basement levels, leading to the Royal Emergency Room, where epidemic prevention and VIP rooms were close. Asher suddenly inserted a virus-implanting unit into the TCR air handler, triggering an containment breach alarm. Security guards rushed to seal off the emergency room, freezing access to the epidemic basement. Tense encounter. Asher pressed against Kalira, shouting, "Are you okay?" Kalira coolly replied, "Still fine." From below, red lights flashed as security lockdown initiated. Lyra and Resistance fighters burst in, Thayan warriors in gray blood armor, wielding vibrating dart weapons, sweeping the room. Path to Royal Council. They rushed through secret corridors in the deepest basement level, where gas vents provided shortcuts to the council chamber. Asher's nerve disruptor weapon, attached to a syringe, shot down at least 2 guards pursuing them. Climax. The council door opened. Asher and Kalira stood together, Kalira raising the Thean ceremonial saber. The Grand Council Chamber, a circular room with high ceilings, surrounded by 16 silver-plated columns. Council seats engraved with Thayan blood emblems. Ravik stood on the elevated platform, skeptically looking down. "Dear cousin, what scheme is this? I heard the Queen has died. And this creature today? Who is it?" Kalira stepped forward, her eyes sharp as knives. "I am here to challenge you according to ancient law. Right of challenge. Ancient regulation. The challenger has the right to bring their companion. A companion is considered part of the soul." Ravik smiled sinisterly. "Companion? Does that pet have rights in this event?" Nyx entered the hall, telepathically targeting Ravik. Standing beside Asher, Kalira emphasized, "My companion, Nyx, is a physical-spiritual part of me. Ancient law doesn't specify that a companion must be Thean." The council members were stunned. No law prohibited different species companions. They exchanged doubtful glances, but couldn't object. Ravik's threats and call to subordinates. Ravik hissed, "Council members, I provide evidence that Kalira has betrayed the bloodline, secretly allied with humans." The Thean councilors hesitated, casting shadows of doubt. The final blow. Kalira spoke clearly. "My words have evidence. You've allowed disease to spread, imprisoned loyalists to seize power. Look at the sword I raise." Ravik immediately drew an energy gun, hidden behind his back, aiming at Kalira. Asher quickly threw a surgical scalpel at Ravik's wrist, causing the gun to drop. Nyx's intervention. Nyx roared, raising his claws ready, distracting the Guardian soldiers. Kalira lunged forward, pinning Ravik to the pedestal, forcing him to kneel. The council immediately voted, reversing the verdict. Ravik committed treason, violated companion law, tortured civilians, tried and stripped of rights. Kalira was reinstated, reclaiming the throne, declaring, "The Thean system now opens alliances with humans, Volatri, and all well-intentioned species." Kalira stood before all councilors and Thea prime citizens. "Today, with Asher Hayes, who saved Nyx and my life, I stand before you. I declare Thea open to sincere diplomacy, strengthening relations with Earth. We don't fear differences. Differences create strength." The audience applauded, many Theans with tears in their eyes. Asher was invited to sit in the position of Special Advisor, Interspecies Relations, to Kalira. Personal impact. He gave a short speech, acknowledging, "I was supposed to be just an animal healer. Now, I'll dedicate my life to building bridges between our worlds." Some conservative counselors remained cautious, but were impressed by Asher's courage and intelligence. Unable to deny it. Decision to restore civilian life. Kalira immediately issued a decree re-establishing free healthcare, extinguishing the epidemic caused by Ravik's misguided policies. Asher led the Galactic Medical Exchange Program project, exchanging medical secrets between humans and Theans. Nyx was recognized as the permanent royal companion, living in the palace, respected by the entire court. Life in the royal palace. They moved to a separate area within the palace but maintained a simple lifestyle. Asher practiced native gardening, teaching Kalira how to care for earth plants. Kalira taught Asher the Thean language, court customs, and royal ceremonies. Recognized relationship. No longer secretive. Kalira openly acknowledged her feelings for Asher. They appeared together at ceremonies, Asher wearing semi-formal attire with Thean gem accessories. Thea's citizens showed respect, many Thean families seeking diplomatic relations with Earth through Asher. Final scene. The new Century Court, in the Great Hall. Kalira and Asher stood side by side, Nyx wrapped around their feet. Sunset shone through stained glass windows, combined with thin metal patterns on the walls, creating a mystical scene. Kalira raised her right hand, placing it on the Thean court symbol. Today, the Thean dynasty turns a new page. I am not just a queen, but a symbol of alliance, of compassion. My companion, Asher Hayes, will join me in building an era of harmony between species. The Interstellar Peace melody played, the symphony orchestra blending Thean vocals with synth sounds. Asher, in a deep, warm, narrative voice. There are moments I can't believe are real. I was just a veterinarian on Nexus 7, never imagining I'd stand beside a great royal. We differ in genes, in biology, but these differences weave our strength. Nyx, with each breath, proves love and loyalty have no limits. Even when enemies stand before you, if you place complete trust in others, you will find a way through. Future implications. Images of Kalira and Asher stepping onto the royal balcony, looking toward the twinkling Thean star. Self-narrative. We know the journey ahead isn't easy. A new civilization must be built on the ruins of the past. But when two souls, a human and a Thean, are ready for each other, we believe hope will sprout from any life or death moment. Open ending. A fleet of hovercraft carrying relief supplies prepared to roll toward the outskirts of Thea Prime, bringing news of revival, faith, and the fiery hope